Hello and welcome to another video. Today's video we are going to be making another one of these cards using another one of our new in colors for the 2020 to 2022 year rounds of in colors. So here we have it in Magenta Madness. This color has definitely not been my favorite, but I am liking it with this kind of more muted white here in my background, so that I still have the pop of pink because it's quite bright. But essentially making this card kind of helped me warm up to that color. I think I might be using it a little bit more as we progress through the years here. So I used it in Magenta Madness. I used it here with Bumblebee, which I thought was just lovely, and you can see my little enamel dots there. And I thought I would make a third card using Misty Moonlight, but the same pattern. And I could actually go through and make one in all 5 of the colors and then package it up as a gift set that I could give to somebody. So let me show you how I made this. First things first, other than obviously having the paper. So the 2 things you'll need to create this, you'll need the large daisy punch. You could do this with the small daisy punch, but you might want to use the note cards instead of a full-size card for that one. And then I am using, because I wanted kind of a large sentiment but not too large, so I'm using the Thank You So Very Much from the Butterfly Gala bundle, not the bundle, just the stamp set. You could absolutely add some butterflies if you did have the the punch, but I thought I wanted a really simple card for today. So there's that one. There's this set. This set is photopolymer, so that means as you use it, you might have some of your pieces that stain. That does not prevent them from actually functioning though. So that's just kind of an aesthetic issue. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll tell you what you need to actually create these 2 cards. Whichever colors you want, you can make this card in. I chose to keep it monochromatic, but you could choose all kinds of different things. So for example, I could have chosen one of the papers from the Flowers for Every Season as my background, right? I could have chosen, let's see, I'm trying to find one that has, I thought there was, oh, actually, well, here, let's do this one. So like this one, for example, has 2 colors. It has the cinnamon cider of the little stems and then the bumblebee of the flowers in the background. I could have done this one, right, with the background. So you could choose something that's maybe more muted. You could choose just a different pattern. On the opposite side, you had lots of colors. So you had a lot of choices if you wanted something like this. Note that this is obviously a type of daisy, so that is something to factor in as you planned out your card. But I liked these polka dots from the In Color pack of the Designer Series paper. This is a 6x6 pack. It comes with 40 sheets, 8 of each of the 5 colors, and it comes with 2 sets of patterns. So on one side you'll have this series of text that is in, I think, all of the major languages that our stamps come in, and then on the opposite you've got this wood grain. And then on the other side, you've got these polka dots, which is what we're using today. And then this kind of gives me a denim look, not only because of the color, but like it looks to me like if I sat down in my pair of jeans in pink and then sat somewhere else, this looks like what the pattern it would transfer to. So let's go ahead, let's not stall anymore. So what you'll need, very simple card. You really don't need too many materials. You will need a piece of 5.5 by 8.5 piece of thick Whisper White cardstock. Because of the layers, you could probably get away with thin, but I always like to have the thick if I have it handy. Occasionally I run out and I have to, what I end up doing if I do use thin, I try to layer up to help make it sturdy. I need a piece of the DSP. This is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then I need 1 layer down, which means that this needs to be 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then I cut this little strip here of, it's 3/4 of an inch by 6 inches. It's from the scrap of the original piece, and I actually added that pop of color to the inside. And so I'm doing that as well in this card. You'll also need the matching color ink pad, so I'm using Misty Moonlight, and so I'll need that. And then obviously you'll need your enamel dots. Here I've used up all of my Bumblebee, but I thought I've still got plenty of little Misty Moonlight, and I thought that would be perfect for this card. So let's go ahead and show you how to make it. So first things first, I have already cut out my pieces. Once you do that, you can go ahead, and the first thing I did is I actually punched out my piece, because once it's punched out, I can get a sense as to where to put my sentiment, okay? So note too, when you cut this, sometimes you'll find that if you flip it on one direction, you can kind of see, let's see if I can get you to see that. Do you see how it's kind of, not like super frayed, but you see it a little bit that it's on this side? So I cut it this way, like I cut on this side being face up, which means that there's kind of a little edge here. I don't think it would be to the point where somebody would be bothered by it, but you know, I would know it's there. So when you punch, this punches this way. So if you want to keep your edges all the same, you need to flip this piece so that essentially all of the potential fraying is all on one side, so that when I flip this, it's exactly as I want it. So I'm going to do this. Luckily for me, this punch goes really, not like super deep, but just deep enough where you end up getting it pretty centered in the like top half of your paper here. So for this, you want about the same amount of space on both sides. It's not the end of the world if you don't get it exactly right, because I think you could probably tell. Let me see if I can show you. So for example, here it's about 5/8 from the side, and over here, right, let me show you, it's a little bit over 5/8. So there would be the 5/8 mark. That's actually a little bit more. So it's not, again, not the end of the world, but I kind of noted, I think my papers moved a little bit as I was punching. So if it does, I mean, I think that you probably would not have necessarily known that had you just seen this as is. So go ahead, hold your paper mostly center. You could measure it if you really wanted to, but it fits pretty snug right on the inside there. And then just punch that out. Keep this piece, because with my set, I now have 3 of them. So I could turn this into a daisy on another card without having to waste my cardstock. So there's that. I've got my piece. Now I can flip it over. Let's go ahead and do our stamping. We don't have very much. It's just our sentiment. You could also add a sentiment on the inside of your card if you'd like. Those are definitely options you can do. So you do want to ink up your stamp, because I am using a photopolymer stamp set. I do recommend that you use the Stampin' Pierce pad here. Let me push it back up, right side up, so you can see the logo. This pad is finally back in stock. They had removed it. Oh no, see, look at me. I think there was a little bit of fuzz here. See, and I didn't notice that. I was too distracted. That's why you need to pay attention. Oh, Caroline. Okay, so let's go ahead and clear that off, and let's try it again. So now, all of that trick that I showed you about making sure it's nice and centered and all on the same side, boop, at least paper has 2 sides, right? So let's go ahead, try that again. Oh, goodness. The perk, though, when you re-stamp, is that usually you're stamping about the same spot, which means that even though, let's see if you can kind of see it. No, not really. So it's on the same spot, so that even if you could see through it a little bit, this would be a little more forgiving for the shadow that it would be casting. Okay? So, alrighty. Now we are ready with this piece. I can go ahead and clean it with my chamois. Love my chamois. Obviously, I love my chamois. I probably need to rinse it out soon, though. Alright, so now let's adhere our pieces. I left the enamel dots for the last thing I did. So let's go ahead and move this out of the way. I adhered my paper first, then I popped this piece up on dimensionals. So let's go ahead and use my Stampin' Seal. And if you like this pattern more, you could absolutely use this pattern instead. I thought these polka dots lend itself well with the daisy. Not that it looks like a centerpiece, but you know, a little bit centered like. And now there's that. Oh, there we go. So there's that. I'll keep this piece, and then keep in mind that I just cut it from the piece. So I actually made it 6 inches, so it's obviously more than what I need. So I'm gonna center it here to line it up. And then notice there's a little piece that comes off. So I'll just use my paper snips. I flip my card like this so that my blade here is flush with the card, and then it's a perfect cut there. Okay, so there's that piece. We've got this. We can fold our cardstock and then burnish our edge here with our bone folder. Beautiful. So now we need to pop this up. So remember, this is my bad side, and now that it's dried, it's actually not as bad, but I still think it's a little bit sloppy. So let's go ahead. This is one of these examples of a card where it's a great idea to keep these bones, because look at this. You can just put it all along the side of your card so that it can be, let's see, let's do it on over here for this piece. It's a little bit. And I'm actually going to put a border more or less all around my card here. So now I'm going to just switch into regular dimensionals. You could, if you wanted to, go ahead and be proactive, I guess, and like use these guys ahead of time if you really wanted to. You may not need to put as many as I did. I just want to make sure it does not fall apart and kind of compress in the mail. So this sheet is done, and now I can throw that piece away. And now let's go ahead and adhere this. Boop. Oh goodness, there we go. The one catch is that sometimes these things get really staticky, and so they'll like stick to your fingers or to your work surface. I find them all over the place before I vacuum sometimes. So let's go ahead, center that up, and gently, oopsie, nope. Let's try that again. There we go. That's a little better. Push that down, and now add our enamel dots. I recommend for these that you actually just bend the acetate that it's on, and I'm actually just using my fingers. My nails just happen to be long enough at the moment, although I will need to trim them soon, I think. I find out when I inevitably break one doing some mundane task. So there we go. Oh, now it looks like it's a little bit high. Let's see if I can be gentle. Yes. So I just kind of stuck my nail underneath there a little bit to gently pull it up. So there we go. So just a note here. I feel like it's a little bit more noticeable, but maybe it's just me. I feel like it's a little bit more noticeable that it's a little bit this way on my card. Like it should have been a little bit more over here to be centered. So I'm seeing that. So if I had chosen, if it would have been more pronounced that I would have been off center, I probably would have like added my dimensionals over here as like ellipses or something to kind of make it look like it was intentional. But I'm sure that whichever loved one I choose to give these to as a set is going to absolutely love them, no matter its flaws, because the idea is that these are homemade and not Hallmark. So there's definitely something to be said about it. So let me know which color you think would be nicest, that you thought was your favorite. I definitely like the Just Jade as well. I think that one would have been a really nice color to do. You could definitely try it out and show me what you come up with. That would be fun. You could use any sentiment. So I happen to use the Butterfly Gala, but you can do whichever one you want. I do recommend you don't pick too tiny of a sentiment, because that would be a lot of white space, which sometimes is great and other times it's it doesn't quite give the right vibe. So that being said, if you need any of these materials, feel free to get in touch and I can help you with that. The list of all of the description, or in the description below, has all of the items that I used in today's cards and how to get them if you need to add them to your own repertoire. And if you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you would like me to help you with your Stampin' Up! Needs, feel free to get in touch. And and if you want to see more of my videos, go ahead and subscribe. I am slowly inching my way up to 100 subscribers, and when I do get to that, I will actually be having a giveaway. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and hopefully you'll be in that drawing when that video drops once I reach 100 subscribers. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.